Hey, in this video, I'm going to show you how to calculate your Net Promoter Score for a private practice physio. Now, the Net Promoter Score is extremely useful if you use it correctly, and you can leverage this for a number of ways. Now, if you don't know me, my name is Dave O'Sullivan. I'm an international sports physio. I've been to 3 World Cups, but also while I've been around the other side of the world, I also have my own private practice here in Huddersfield, where I've got a leadership team who can grow the clinic without me. And the other big advantage I have is I've also mentored over 1,500 plus therapists in over 40 countries all over the world. So I have a unique vantage point of working with a lot of therapists, and I can see very quickly now the traits of the therapists, and also if their head physio numbers and their Net Promoter Score isn't where it needs to be, then what are the key inputs that we need to put into the clinic in order to get the outputs, which in this case will be a better Net Promoter Score. So first off, what is the Net Promoter Score? Well, the Net Promoter Score, it's an accepted score that's used across a wide range of businesses in many industries. And it was all set up basically on a very simple question that you send to your customer, your patient, after they've experienced your product. On a scale of 1 to 10, how likely are you to recommend us to family or friends? Okay, so again, if we accept that a physio clinic, a service-based business, it starts and ends with fulfillment and delivering great service and building that go-to clinic on word of mouth, because although marketing is important behind every go-to clinic, there's a big word of mouth referral source there, then this is a great number to dictate actually if patients are going to refer people to you. So the Net Promoter Score, it's actually based on a scale of -100 to +100. And that's really important to understand, because if we score a 9 or a 10, they're what we would be classifying as promoters. So these are the people who we would classify as raving fans. They're going to tell everybody about you, but most importantly, if the competition, the other physio clinic down the road came down with a special offer and they say, hey, we're doing half price physio for the rest of our lives, these are the raving fans that go, actually, no, I value what I'm receiving here. They're usually the high value customers as well, where they value more than just the price. They're not price sensitive, so they're going to be loyal raving fans. And that's really important that we get as many 9 and 10s as we can in our clinic, okay? Now, what about if someone scored us a 7 or 8? Well, they're what we would be called passive people. Essentially, they're the people most at risk of being nabbed by the competition, so to speak. So again, they were satisfied with the service, but we probably didn't exceed expectations. So again, if we're getting a lot of 8s in our Net Promoter Score results, then I'm getting a little bit concerned that we didn't not only deliver expectations, but exceed expectations, because one of our core values in our clinic is to go the extra mile. And also the other core value is exceed expectations. So that tells me then, okay, the behaviors that my staff are doing, maybe we're not doing it, or maybe we're doing it, but the patient isn't feeling the value. Okay, so really important, because those 7 or 8s, they're the people that could potentially are price sensitive. And if someone else offers them physio at a cheaper rate, they're much more likely to go. Then we have 6 below. Okay, so if someone scores you a 6, that's what's called a detractor. Okay, so again, because it's based on a -100 to a +100, if we get a 6 or below, it can really have a big impact on your Net Promoter Score. Okay, so world class, essentially, you want to be aiming for around 80% Net Promoter Score. Okay, but if you get a few 6s, they're the people that will actively tell other people usually about how bad a service it was. So these are the detractors from your reputation, essentially, okay? So a world-class Net Promoter Score, I think it's around 70%. Our standard personally is 80%, okay? And again, usually that's kind of the baseline. Luckily for us, it sits around 90% consistently, okay? And I'll tell you in a second now how to do all of this and when you should be surveying your patients, because you can get really good information by doing it at 2 certain points of the patient journey, okay? So again, you decide 70% and above for across the board is usually world class. As I said, for a physio clinic, I think we need to be hitting at least 80, and certainly that's our baseline. I'd be getting very concerned if it's below 80, but certainly traditionally ours will sit around the 90%. Now, what's interesting is we track ours as a 30-day NPS and then an overall NPS as well, okay? I'm going to tell you why that's really useful in a second. And The first one that we want to track and where we want to serve with people usually is we want to do it straight after the initial assessment. So the first one, which is our 30-day NPS, that's the leading indicator of how we're doing in terms of building a raving fan that's going to be loyal to the clinic for the future, and that's going to return again, and that's going to tell their friends and family about us. So if our 30-day NPS was poor, it gives us a chance to fix the problems early on, okay? If we just done our net promoter score after the patient was discharged, then we've lost the opportunity to be proactive. So that's what I like putting in. Straight after the initial assessment, the patient gets a survey sent out. One question on a scale of 1 to 10, how likely are you to recommend your friends and family? There's an opportunity to score that 0 to 10 and then also leave a comment, okay? So really, really useful. Then if we get anyone who's a 7 or an 8, great. We know that they're satisfied. And by the way, a lot of people, and they'll actually put it in the form, is too early to tell. So far, so good, too early to tell. That's usually a common thing where people do a 7 or 8 at that point. And that makes sense because they've only had one session. They haven't achieved their definition of success. If you get 9 or 10s, great. We've exceeded people's expectations. We're happy. If you get a 6 or a 5 or below, then that allows us an opportunity to fix the problem in the business so we can improve the service and the customer experience. And as I said, it hurts when you get a 6 or below, okay, but it's a real good opportunity to fix the problems in the business. And as much as it hurts me when you do get one on an odd occasion, you have to look at it as a growth mindset. I can actually fix these problems in a business. Okay, so that's your 30-day net promoter score. But what we're really interested is the 90-day one. Okay, and usually the 30-day will fluctuate, as I said, because a lot of people will do a 7 or 8, usually from our experience, just because they're a bit skeptical. It's still early days. But it's really the 90-day net promoter score that we're interested in. So usually you want to send that then once the patient's discharged. Okay, the last thing that you want to do is you also want to send it to the patients that cancelled and did not rebook. If you just send that survey to people who you've discharged, you're not getting a full story of your clinic. So if someone cancels and they haven't rebooked again, it's really good to send that NPS survey, because then you can see if they're not happy for whatever reason. And again, you might get a 6 or a 5, but you have to look at that as an opportunity to make this right. So our system and process in the Go-To clinic, if we get a 6 or below, then that activates our head physio systems. Our head physio then reaches out personally and we send an email, did we do something wrong? And we look for honest advice, okay? And then a lot of the time we can fix the problem. We get the patient back in again and we can get them back on track again, okay? And then we can also then do necessary training for the therapist in order to improve their skill set and improve our customer experience. So that's certainly how we use it in our clinic, not only for the 30-day NPS, but also the 90-day NPS, okay? We can make sure that we actually care about people, and if they're not happy and we didn't do what we said we were going to do, then we can make that right. And of course, you're not going to get it right 100% of the time because human beings are emotional and they've all got different things going on in their lives, but at least you're aware of some of these problems so you can solve them and improve your customer experience. Then the other thing you can do then is if someone gives you a 9 or a 10, these are the prime people to then leave a review. So if at 90 days someone gives you 9 or 10, these are the people then that you're raving fans. They're the people you want to be encouraging to leave reviews, okay? Because they've had a great experience and they want to tell people they're happy to share their story with you, okay? So you can use it a few ways. You can use the Net Promoter Score, and we certainly use it to fix our fulfillment process, and we use it with our head physio systems so that we can improve our clinicians' performance, but also our customer experience. But then you can also use it to then generate more reviews, which helps your marketing and your positioning to attract more types of people like your raving fans. So it's a really powerful tool to use if you use it correctly, okay? So Net Promoter Score, as I said, it's just in terms of the operational side of it, depending on the softwares that you have and stuff like that, and your booking softwares, you're just going to send a survey. You can send it via email, you can send it via text. A lot of systems will automate it now for you as well. Okay, plenty of ways to do that. Don't get bogged down on how to do it. It's much, much more important to understand why you would do it and how to use it to the best of your ability. Okay. Now, in terms of getting consistent 9 and 10s, I've got a free training of how to set expectations for patients to give you time to generate the results and reviews so that you've got that buy-in and adherence in the first session. If you want a copy of that training to make sure that you're getting all 9 and 10s, just find me on Instagram, just search Dave O'Sullivan Physio, or search on LinkedIn, search Dave O'Sullivan Physio, I'm sure I'll come up. Okay, send me a message, just say, hey Dave, I was watching your YouTube training on Net Promoter Score, can you send me that free training? I've got a PDF guide and a free training as well that will help you map out the first session, set expectations for the patient so that you've got time to actually deliver not only what they're expected, but then exceed expectations. We've also got plenty of resources on our website, go2physio.com. We've got a knowledge base there that you can check out as well to help you either with your clinic or to become that go-to physio in your town. Hope that was useful. Get tracking your Net Promoter Score and start using the information to not only help your patients, but also help your customer experience.